What's up, you guys? Rasati out here in Singapore. It's been a phenomenal morning so far. It's only 11:30, y'all, but you know what? I've been up early because this is the last day of school before we go into full-on lockdown mode, and I feel good. I actually really enjoy the fact that she forces me to get up out of bed early, and then I can get my day started because on the weekends it's a little bit harder to get out of bed. It's a little bit harder to get going, and I do tend to sleep in late. And you know what? I feel so much more lazy when I stay in bed longer. When I wake up late and we have breakfast at lunchtime, it's like I've lost half my day already. And it's true, you do. You've lost half your day. And I'm trying really hard not to do that. So hopefully, if I can get it together well enough during this lockdown period, I am going to continue waking up at about 7-ish, maybe not 6:30, 7-ish maybe, and I'm going to try and continue to pump out as much information as I can, because the more I consume, the more I want to actually teach you guys as well, because it's sparking other ideas inside of my head. It's getting me to think in different directions and giving me more ideas to work on. So one of those things that happened this morning was I got a chance to get up, get dressed for the first time, actually like look kind of semi-decent, and I did an interview. I haven't done an interview in so long, and the energy was just, it's just what I needed this morning. And I felt good about that, right? So I actually got on the line with Chris Brogan. He is a story leader. He's been around for a very long time, especially on social media. So he is a business coach, business analyst. He has been doing this thing for a very long time, to the point that he's coined a phrase. He likes to be a story leader, because everyone's teaching leaders to tell stories nowadays. But how do you lead? How do you actually tell a story, especially when attention spans are so fast, right? If you notice the stories on Instagram, the story section of Instagram, you can only put 15 seconds worth of video on there, and then it clicks to the next story, basically. In the post itself, if you were to make a quick video post, at 60 seconds, you get to speak. And then, of course, you got IGTV. Depending on how many followers you have up to 10 minutes or so that you can post. So other than that, it's not very long pieces of content anymore. You can't take an hour and a half to tell a story, because people just don't have that kind of attention. And then on top of that, he mentioned something that's really, really crucial. People don't have their daily commutes no more. People aren't going to the gym and listening while they're out working out anymore. So it's changed. The game has changed, especially now during coronavirus. And I felt so blessed to be able to have him there talking about all these things. I get to discuss like new improved ideas, and it's not necessarily my mental health stuff that I always talk about, but it's the other aspects of life that mental health touches as well. And you need to kind of, up your mental health game, your sanity, your self-confidence, all of that, in order to go out and get these, these lessons learned and try new things. It's all about how you feel about yourself, right? So everything ties in very, very beautifully. And I was so grateful. From there, I was like, I'm on a high. I kind of feel really good right now. What else can I get done? And I jumped right on it. So I went to Lumosity. I love Lumosity. First thing in the morning, I try to use my brain. These are games you get to play. I feel like a little kid a little bit. I spent about 20 minutes max playing some of these games, just to learn if I can make my thinking a little more fluid, so I'm not stuck in my ways about how to think. If something changes, I can pivot fairly fast, and I'm working on that. The other thing is learning how to plan. So there's a train game that I really love, that you need to plan how to get all the trains into the right stations by changing, the switches on the tracks to see who goes where. So these little things I really, really enjoy. And it was because I was coming off of this interview high that I wanted to channel that information as well. Next thing on the list, workout. So this is just after my workout. My arms kind of hurt a little bit. I am a big fan of Ashley Jordan, and such a great fan of Mad Bars, the app. So I've been working out at home for a while now, mostly because I've spent so much money on gym memberships, and then I maybe go once or twice in the entire stupid year, and I feel like I've wasted tons of money. Well, think about that. It's about $12,000 that I've wasted because I pay for a gym membership about $100 a month for 12 months. Dumb, right? Whereas Mad Bars, the app, I'm very, very proud to say, lifetime membership costs $200, and it gives you all the exercises that you can do from home with or without equipment. So if you have parallel bars, great. If you have, a bar, chin-up bar or whatever, that's great. But if you don't, most of these things are meant for you to do without equipment anyway. So it's been fantastic. I really, really love it. And then, of course, I'm thinking about what I need to do next. But while I'm working out, I'm listening to a podcast. And you know me. Today, it was E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. I really love his content. And he's talking about significant value, giving significant value. Now, right now, I know that I have a wealth of information that I can share about how I get through some things. I know that I can speak to you guys and I can teach you guys and I could share with you guys, but ultimately, I want to make sure that I'm actually giving the best possible value, especially if it's for free. I want to make sure that you get it as clear as possible, succinct as possible so you can actually digest the information I'm giving you. Now, if you really want to work on stuff that's specific to your life, your situation, you're going to have to get on the phone with me because I can't tell you all of that generically. It's hard. There are a lot of questions I need to ask. But for the most part, when I hear trends of questions or trends of issues that are popping up, I want to get on and I want to talk about them because I want to give you the most significant value that I possibly can. Right now, I'm talking to all of you who are stuck in the house, who are upset about being stuck in the house. I had a conversation with a young lady just now. She's a makeup artist. She's very, very sweet. She was so inviting and has a warm energy. But right now, I get the impression that she's kind of not very happy with the way things are. She's used to lifestyle at a specific pace, and now that everything's changed and everyone's home, it's changed her dynamic, it's changed what she's used to, and she's having a little bit of trouble coping and managing. Now, what I really want to say to you guys is, yes, things are changing and they're not necessarily the way you would change them. Why? Because you got 5 people in the house and each of those 5 people have their own way of doing things. So guaranteed, y'all gonna butt heads. Guaranteed. But here's what I want you to focus on. What things can you do by yourself that isn't really influenced by anybody else? And what things do you have to do in a shared space? Case in point, lately, on the weekends, when I want to do work, I try really hard not to go off into my room and shut the door and do the work by myself. I could do that. I could get in the zone and completely forget about everything else in the house. But if I do that, I tend to forget what time it is. I tend to forget that baby girl's out there, that we need to have meals at some point. She needs some social interaction. So I try really hard not to go off into my room and isolate myself, like really isolate myself. Because let's be honest, I am an introvert. I love having my own space. But when baby girl's home, she also wants to watch cartoons. And I could watch cartoons with her, but that also means that I don't get anything done for me. So we're trying to work out how we're going to share this shared area, the living space, right? Kitchen is my domain. Bedroom, we don't really come into until we're done for the day. But the living space is where we spend the majority of our day, especially if we're home together. And going forward, obviously, today's the last day of school. Home-based learning begins tomorrow. We're going to have to share that space. Now, in order for me to get some work done, I would like to be in this space with her so she physically sees me. I don't want her spending the next 1 month where she's in one room and I'm in another and we're both doing work. I don't want that. I want her to see me. I want us to be able to play. I want us to have like a pretend, yes, we're going to pretend homeschool kind of situation where I'm going to set a timer, and when that timer goes off, we start this specific subject. When the timer goes off, we stop and we switch gears. So it kind of feels like we're passing the time, but productively. But I need to work with her on what she wants to do and what I want to get done too. Yesterday was a beautiful illustration of a simple concept. When she came home, I still had a couple of classes I needed to watch and finish and take notes on. Now, the things that I watch are not entertaining to her. She wanted to watch Cupcake and Dino, and that's not entertaining to me. It's very like vegetative state, not really thinking, don't really have to laugh either. You kind of just watch the pictures move across the screen. And I was feeling like I needed to get some things done. So at that moment, I was like, all right, if you really want to watch this cartoon right now, I am going to try really hard to pay attention to my things here, but sit in the living room with you. It didn't work very well. I couldn't get it together. Usually I can tune everything out, but yesterday I couldn't. There was a time before that as well, earlier in the day, where she had just come home. And I was watching something and I told her, why don't you read? Read for a little while and see if you can't get your reading out the way so we don't have to, do it later. And she's like, yeah, sure. And then she was like, can I have your headphones? And I was thinking, why do you need my headphones? She was like, well, the TV's on and I can't hear. I'm like having trouble focusing. And I was thinking, well, just tune it out, obviously, because that's what we did as kids. But I understood she can't do that. She's not ready yet. She's not old enough to kind of figure out how to do that. So I was contemplating how we could manage this. So the point being, you're stuck in the house, sure. You have your own room, probably, I hope. great. But if you don't have your own room, or if you're sharing space with people, you need to be cognizant of what they need. And this is a great situation for you to be able to talk to each other and figure out, okay, well, how can we plan this so that you get some time and I get some time, but we're in a shared space together. So this is a great moment for y'all to work on your communication skills and try really hard to mend fences so you can get to a next level of trust and connection with the people that you're around. So with that being said, I really, really hope that this helped you in some way. It gave you something else to think about or consider, like another avenue of how to manage being at home with your family during this COVID quarantine season. And hopefully it's something practical and simple enough where you can try and baby step your way through it. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. But if you really need a specific solution, DM me. Contact me directly so I can see about how I can actually help you through this. Because yes, I am here for significant value. I'm trying to give you everything that I know so that you can actually make your life a little bit better. Make home feel more like home. That's the point, right? Home is supposed to be your refuge from the world. Home is supposed to be where you run home, you run back after work or whatever, and you drop everything at the door and you just get to be yourself. And for a lot of you out there, you don't have that opportunity because maybe the people around you are of a different mindset that you are. Maybe the people around you aren't the ideal people, or maybe you're living with friends or in a dormitory, you're not really home with family. Whatever the case may be, this is an opportunity for you to find your way, even though it's not an ideal situation. As always, you guys, I love you. Thank you so much for joining in and listening to the Night Owl podcast, and I will catch you again real soon. I love you. Bye.